Hey, Warriors fans! Today, we have an absolutely wild situation to break down. And if you thought the trade season was intense before, well, buckle up because things have taken a turn. That has left everyone scratching their heads. The buzz around Giannis Antetokounmpo has been non-stop for weeks now. The Golden State Warriors have made it clear that they are all in on this, going to extraordinary lengths to try and bring one of the greatest players in the league to the West Coast. We've seen everything from complex negotiations to tough choices that risk team chemistry, all with the aim of pairing Steph Curry with Giannis in what could be a dream scenario for any Warriors fan. But now, just when you think you have a handle on how this is going to play out, a new twist appears that completely upends the expectations and leaves you wondering how on earth this is even possible. It all starts with the trade rumors that have been swirling around the league, with the usual suspects, the Miami Heat, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the New York Knicks, all reportedly in the mix. Everyone knew that there was a possibility Giannis could land somewhere other than Golden State. But the sheer audacity of the latest reports has taken things to a whole new level. According to the latest updates, it seems that the Chicago Bulls are now being mentioned as favorites to land Giannis if he were to leave Milwaukee, and let me tell you, that is the kind of news that is hard to process for months. Warriors fans have been following every twist and turn in these negotiations, watching their team pass on certain opportunities, shifting pieces around, and making bold moves in hopes of securing a superstar addition. And now, out of nowhere, the Bulls, a franchise that previously seemed completely disinterested, are suddenly in the spotlight as a legitimate contender to acquire him. It's baffling, frustrating, and for many, downright insulting. Think about it. The Warriors have already taken monumental risks in this pursuit. Draymond Green, a cornerstone of the team, has been at the center of these discussions. The organization has navigated sensitive negotiations, ensuring that any potential trade aligns with the broader vision for the team, while also balancing the personalities and priorities of its core players. And all this effort, all this careful planning, could potentially be overshadowed by a move that seems almost out of left field. The Bulls were initially reported to have no interest in making a trade for Giannis, despite contacts being made by his representatives. That news came weeks ago and was met with disbelief. Fans and analysts alike questioned why a team in the position to make a splash would pass on an opportunity to acquire one of the best players in the league. And now, suddenly, that same team is being positioned as a frontrunner. It's the kind of scenario that leaves you scratching your head and asking, how did we get here? Meanwhile, the stakes for Golden State could not be higher. If this trade were to go through and Giannis somehow ended up in Chicago, it would represent a dramatic blow to the team's championship aspiration. Imagine building a roster around Steph Curry's prime and his twilight years with the goal of capturing another title, only to have one of the most coveted players in the league slip through your fingers to a franchise that previously showed no interest. It's a situation that no Warriors fan wants to contemplate. But at the same time, it's exactly the type of scenario that trade rumors love to create. And as we dig into the nuances, it becomes clear why the Warriors have been so cautious. The team has to balance ambition with pragmatism, ensuring that they don't sacrifice key pieces or destabilize the locker room in the process. Every decision has consequences, and the Giannis situation is perhaps the most complicated challenge they've faced in years. On top of all this, there are other players whose futures are intertwined with this saga. Jonathan Kuminga, for instance, had suitors lined up, including the Mavericks and Sacramento Kings. But the landscape has shifted with other acquisitions and roster constraints. Suddenly, pieces that once seemed available or likely to be leveraged in a trade are no longer in play, forcing the Warriors to reassess their strategy. Every move becomes a chess match, where timing, valuation, and player willingness all intersect to determine the final outcome. The Warriors are trying to thread the needle here, maximize their chances to acquire Giannis without losing valuable assets, disrupt team cohesion, or pass up on opportunities that could still improve the roster. It's a delicate balancing act, and any misstep could have long-term consequences for the franchise. And yet, despite the challenges, the allure of pairing Curry with Giannis is impossible to ignore. This is a combination that could reshape the entire league, forcing every other contender to recalibrate their approach. A team built around those two talents, along with a supporting cast capable of complementing their strengths, could be a juggernaut. That's why the Warriors are willing to endure the uncertainty, to navigate the risks, and to push their assets and relationships to the limit. but that doesn't make the news of the Bulls' sudden rise any less jarring. It's one thing to face competition from established teams actively seeking a trade. It's another to see a team that previously opted out suddenly become a favorite. The emotional roller coaster for fans is real, and it's a test of patience and optimism in equal measure. Meanwhile, questions about player reactions loom large. How will Draymond Green respond if the trade market heats up and his role, once considered untouchable, suddenly becomes negotiable? How will Steph Curry approach the season knowing that the team's strategy hinges on a move that may or may not happen? And what of the younger players on the roster, whose development could be affected by the shifting priorities and potential trades? Every stakeholder in this saga has a vested interest, and every reaction could influence the outcome. It's more than just a rumor or a headline. It's a complex puzzle that tests the front office's ability to manage expectations, negotiate effectively, and maintain the trust and morale of the entire organization. At the same time, the other potential suitors for GIANNIS create a web of competition that is difficult to untangle. The Miami Heat, Knicks, Timberwolves, and even teams like the Lakers and Raptors are all reportedly in the mix, each with their own motivations, needs, and assets to offer. The Warriors aren't just competing against one team. They are navigating a multi-front battle where every development can shift probabilities and fan perception. It's a high-stakes environment where timing is everything and patience can be just as valuable as decisive action. The pressure to execute without miscalculating is immense, and one wrong move could result in missing out on the opportunity of a generation. Even as the trade season unfolds, the Warriors must maintain focus on the present. While the possibility of acquiring GIANNIS dominates headlines, the current roster still has games to play, opponents to face, and momentum to build. Balancing the pursuit of a superstar with the realities of day-to-day performance is no small feat, and it requires a disciplined approach that blends strategy, preparation, and adaptability. The team's ability to respond to the evolving landscape while keeping long-term goals in mind will ultimately define whether they succeed in achieving their championship aspiration or face disappointment at a critical juncture as this saga continues to develop. One thing is certain. The Golden State Warriors are in uncharted territory. The combination of high expectations, unprecedented trade scenarios, and unpredictable market dynamics has created a narrative that is equal parts thrilling and nerve-wracking. Fans are left to wonder, speculate, and debate the possibilities, while the team works behind the scenes to chart a course through one of the most complex periods in recent franchise history. Every update, every rumor, and every decision carries weight, and the next few weeks could determine the trajectory of the team for years to come. As the trade rumors keep circulating, the intensity surrounding Giannis Antetokounmpo's potential move to the Golden State Warriors continues to escalate. Every fan, analyst, and insider seems to have a theory, but the reality is far more complex than any headline can capture. The Warriors are walking a tightrope between ambition and risk, and every single development from other teams impacts their strategy. Imagine the stress on the front office, trying to assess who has the right assets, the willingness to trade, and the long-term vision to make a deal work. The Bulls emerging as a favorite to acquire GIANNIS is just one example of how unpredictable this entire landscape is. What was once considered a straightforward competition among a handful of teams has now become a multi-dimensional puzzle with enormous stakes, not just for the franchise but for the entire league. The situation is particularly delicate because of the personalities involved. Draymond Green, for instance, is not just a core piece of the team. He embodies the spirit and identity of the Warriors. Yet, in the pursuit of GIANNIS, the team has had to publicly entertain scenarios in which even Draymond could be included in trade discussions. That is almost unthinkable for a team that has prided itself on stability and loyalty within its roster. Green's reaction to these rumors and possible outcomes adds another layer of uncertainty. Maintaining his focus, leadership, and emotional balance during a period of such intense speculation is crucial for the team, but it is easier said than done. Steph Curry, too, has to manage his expectations. While he is the centerpiece of Golden State, he is also acutely aware that this could be his last real shot at another championship in a Warriors uniform. Pairing with GIANNIS could create a once-in-a-generation duo, but missing out, especially to a team like Chicago, would be a devastating blow. Meanwhile, other players' futures are intertwined in this high-stakes environment. Jonathan Kuminga, who had been considered a key asset in trade discussions, now finds himself in limbo. Teams like the Mavericks and Kings were previously seen as likely suitors, but roster changes and cap space limitations have left him without a clear path. Every piece of the roster becomes a lever in the attempt to acquire GIANNIS, and the Warriors are forced to weigh the short-term cost against the long-term potential. Draft picks, existing player contracts, and team chemistry all factor into the calculus. It is not just about who can offer the best package. It's about ensuring that the team remains competitive and cohesive, no matter the outcome. Misjudging any of these elements could set the franchise back years, and that is the kind of pressure that defines modern NBA front office strategy. The drama is amplified by the league-wide implications of this trade. If GIANNIS were to land with the Bulls, it would immediately reposition them as a serious contender in the Eastern Conference. Teams like the Heat, Knicks, and Timberwolves would have to reconsider their strategies, and the Warriors, despite their Western Conference dominance, would face a new set of challenges. Conversely, if Golden State secures him, the balance of power in the West could tilt dramatically, forcing the Lakers, Nuggets, and Suns to reassess their rosters and priorities. This is not just a trade. It is a seismic event with the potential to reshape the NBA hierarchy for years to come. What makes this situation even more intriguing is the psychological factor. Fans are emotionally invested in every rumor, and media speculation can amplify feelings of hope or frustration within hours. Warriors supporters have been on a roller coaster, watching every twist, every report, and every whisper in the rumor mill. The thought of GIANNIS ending up elsewhere, especially in a city that previously seemed uninterested, adds an almost surreal tension. It's a reminder that, in professional sports, nothing is guaranteed, and the narrative can change overnight based on decisions, leaks, or even strategic silence from teams and agents. The front office's challenge is to navigate these waters carefully while keeping their options open. They must assess every potential trade partner's willingness, evaluate the long-term fit for GIANNIS, and protect the integrity of the existing roster. Every move, whether public or private, is scrutinized, and missteps could weaken the franchise's position. The Warriors have to balance patience with urgency, ensuring that they do not overpay, lose key pieces, or allow other teams to outmaneuver them. The combination of high expectations, intense media scrutiny, and the inherent uncertainty of trades makes this one of the most challenging periods in the franchise's history. Adding to the complexity, the competition for GIANNIS includes several formidable teams. The Miami Heat have the advantage of a proven culture and championship pedigree. The Knicks offer a lucrative media market and star-driven environment, and the Timberwolves present a roster with complementary young talent. Each of these teams brings unique challenges to the table. The Warriors must not only offer a compelling trade package, but also convince GIANNIS that they provide the best path to a championship, while maintaining the delicate balance of their existing roster. The intricacy of this situation cannot be overstated, and every potential misstep has consequences that extend far beyond the immediate trade window. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. The NBA rumor mill has rarely spun this fast. Round league circles, a stunning whisper refuses to die. Giannis Antetokounmpo has quietly said yes to the idea of a future in Golden State, and the Warriors, sensing a once-in-a-generation opening, are preparing what insiders describe as a mega offer unlike anything seen before. Nothing is signed, nothing is official, but the mere possibility has already sent executives, agents, and fans into speculation mode. According to sources close to the situation, the Warriors front office believes the franchise is at a crossroads. The core that defined an era still carries immense gravity, but time is relentless. Giannis, in this narrative, represents both continuity and rebirth, a global superstar entering his prime years, capable of anchoring a new dynasty while honoring the competitive culture built in the Bay. The idea is audacious, bordering on reckless, yet perfectly aligned with Golden State's history of bold moves. What makes this rumor so combustible is the alleged green light from Giannis himself. The word circulating is not a demand or an ultimatum, but an openness and acknowledgement that the Warriors' style, market, and championship DNA resonate deeply with him. That single nod has reportedly emboldened Golden State to assemble a package described as historic, potentially involving multiple cornerstone assets, future flexibility, and a financial commitment that would redefine the market. Skeptics argue that such a move would gut depth and mortgage the future. Believers counter that players like Giannis are the future. Round the league, Rival executives are said to be bracing for impact, monitoring every subtle shift. Every coded comment, every silence that feels too loud to ignore. For now, this remains a rumor. A speculative storm fueled by ambition and imagination, yet in the NBA, today's whispers have a habit of becoming tomorrow's reality. If the Warriors truly push all their chips to the center of the table, the league may soon witness a seismic realignment, one that begins not with an announcement, but with a quiet yes. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.